Bundle and save with Expedia. You were made to follow your favorite band, and from the front row, we were made to quietly save you more. Expedia. Made to travel. Savings vary and subject to availability. Flight-inclusive packages are ATOL protected.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Commercial Insurance. Business owners, meet Progressive Insurance. They make it easy to get discounts on commercial auto insurance and find coverages to grow with your business. Quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company. Coverage provided and serviced by affiliated and third-party insurers. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
What's up? This is Ethan from Ashes of the Sun and Freya, and you are listening to Brutally Delicious. Check it.
1, 2, 3, 4. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast. The Brutally Delicious Podcast.
This is 70,000 Tons of Metal, the original, the world's biggest heavy metal cruise. 60 bands, 4 days, 1 cruise ship, only 3,000 tickets. It's like having an all-access backstage pass. January 29th to February 2nd, 2026. From Miami, Florida to Nassau, the Bahamas, and back. 70,000 Tons of Metal. What are you doing next winter?
How are you today? How are you today?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Good. Where are you at geographically?
I'm northern New York. I'm right on the St. Lawrence River, basically. Ottawa is 45 minutes from me.
Okay. Is it getting cold up there yet?
It's actually record-breaking. I think today it's like 91 degrees. The humidity's brutal. There's wildfires out west, and all the smoke is over here. It's been that way for weeks and weeks and weeks. So it's been, the air quality's been pretty poor. It's pretty hot. So
really,
but
I didn't realize you would.
What's that?
I didn't realize you were getting all that heat that far up.
Yeah, the heat when it's up here, it's muggy. It's not like Florida. It can be 90 in Florida, and you can deal with it. Up here, it gets hot. It's that thick air, and with all these wildfires going out in Canada out in west and stuff, we're getting all the smoke. So it's pretty brutal right now.
Huh. Anyway, we didn't come in to talk about weather, I guess. So let's jump into Ashes of the Sun. So one of the things I like about doing this podcast is I get to come across bands that I've not heard of, and you can't keep up with everybody, and I get things come across my radar, and this was one of them. But for those like myself out there who are not familiar with Ashes of the Sun, can you give us like the 2-sentence elevator boardroom pitch or whatever you want to call it?
The pitch is Ashes of the Sun. Actually, I have triplets, and my kids years ago, they knew I was in a band. They wanted to come up with a name. They said, we're going to call our band Ashes of the Sun. And I just thought it was kind of funny. And I was like, it sounds like a screamo kind of heavy band, or something like that. Giggle a little bit. And then over the years, I just collected all these songs, man. I've been recording and writing and demoing, for Freya, for various bands. Sometimes I just write. And I had this pile of songs. I'm like, they all kind of like worked. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to record them, see what's up. I got a hold of some of my old, Jocko, my old buddy, who mixed for me and stuff. And I said, hey, you want to mix these songs? I was talking about how I should sing it, and I played everything on it. I played drums, guitar, bass, everything. So just some songs I had floating there. I was like, I'm going to put some solos to this. I'm really a bass player. I joined Freya as a bass player, so I ended up becoming the drummer when I was back in the early days on Victory Records. And I just, Eric and Bulldog really convinced me, hey, man, you're a decent drummer. You should do it. So I started playing drums, and that kind of became like now my main instrument. But I play guitar, I play bass, and I sing. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to scream on this. I'm just going to sing it. I don't care if my friends make fun of me, my metal friends, and say, what are you doing, dude? I'm like, you know what, dude? I listen to all kinds of music, Don't tell me you don't like some of those 80s metal bands and rock bands. So I said, fuck it. I'm just going to record it. And I'm sick of recording music and doing nothing with it. I have a production company and I make movies and stuff. So I get to filter stuff out through there. But I just didn't want to sit on it. It was like an album. I didn't want to sit on it. And I said, I'm going to throw that on it. I thought it was cool. It's rock. It's pretty straight to the point. it's got my influences from the 80s and stuff and 90s. And I just said, you know what, I'm just not going to sit on another bit of recordings. You know, I mean, any musician, if you're a musician, you know what I'm talking about. How many things have you recorded and written and just done nothing with? Like, man, I really want to start a band for that someday. Right. And so this is that project of, I don't want to call them B-sides, but they're all the songs that I thought were cool. I thought they had a place someplace in rock and in metal. And I don't really fully know where that place is necessarily. But some people love it, and the diehard metal fans, you know, we'll see, you know. But I know it has a place, so I wanted to release it, and I threw it out into the cosmos, and we'll see what happens. You know what I mean?
I do. When you're writing, then, because you're writing for different bands, do you sit down and specifically say, I'm going to write for Ashes of the Sun or Freya, or do you just write and then go, hey, you know, this is more of an Ashes kind of?
Well, I think I tend to write a certain way. I always start, you know, one of my friends likes to say half-baked, you know, like I'll write a riff. I always go basic. I go like a verse, chorus, intro kind of type of thing. And I grew up in the 90s. So, you know, there's a lot of grunge. You know, I love bands like Soundgarden stuff. I love Alice in Chains. And those are they're commercialized. So it's a little easier to follow. And I don't like to write that way. And, you know, and I was in a really progressive band that was called High Powered Mutant. We demoed, but we never really did stuff. And it was super progressive. I used to sing and play with my band, and I couldn't sing and I couldn't sing and play at the same time. And so it was so intense to play. And I've always done progressive. I play like primacy funk bass and stuff. And I was in a funk metal band. And so I really wanted to, like, you know, I try to get into each. I kind of always start with the same bass, and then I kind of build off of that. Usually, I bring it to the table, and someone says, "Oh man, I love that chorus. Oh, I love that verse," and I'll say, "Oh man, I got this song I wrote. It sounds like Bah," or "Oh wow, it kind of sounds like this." "Oh, it kind of sounds like Metallica." Sometimes it sounds like the band I'm working with. So then when I have the other heads in there, we kind of throw it into the pot, and I'm used to just chopping everything to bits, and then I wrote that chorus, bro, you know? So it's kind of like, you know, it's kind of always up for grabs. You know what I mean? But I write so much stuff. I mean, I get in these kicks. Like right now I'm on a 70s metal kick. You know, I've been listening for about 2 weeks before Ozzy passed. I was listening to everything 70s. Right now I'm on a rainbow kick. I'm listening to Dio singing Rainbow. I'm just loving Dio screaming. Right. And I'm loving it. Like, and I found this band called Freedom Hawk. I can't remember where they're out of. I think Virginia maybe. And they're a newer band, but they kind of sound like Black Sabbath or Ozzy at times. And I just get in these kicks. So then I'll write a whole bunch of songs like that, you know. And then for a while I was into like doom metal. I'm actually playing drums for a doom band called Void Emperor right now. We're playing with Crowbar this week coming up.
I'm going to see Crowbar tomorrow.
Oh, where are you at?
Richmond, Virginia.
Okay, yeah, they're playing. So I Hate God in Crowbar. We're playing with them in Syracuse. I'm playing with them in Syracuse. We're main support for that show, and then, but they had the show coming up. They say, "Hey, can you play it?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." So I did. I'm doing that. I'm kind of really into it, and I think we're kind of gelling. And I think I might do a little more with them. So I mean, I don't know where my path's going to bring me. You know what I mean? I've been in a surf band, so I do everything.
Just love to play.
I'm just kind of. I've always been a for hire guy. Like I've had guys call me the last minute, say, "Oh shit, you know, can you play this? We're going to Europe and do this." And sometimes I turn it down, sometimes I say yes, but you know, I'm like kind of a fill-in guy. So
that's cool though, because I think obviously those are needed. And, you know, I've heard in the past that, you know, you've got Demmel that's doing that now, right? Bill Demmel is pretty much the hired guy all over the place in the, you know, the metal world as well. I mean, he's with Slayer and Machine Head and Violence.
Yeah. And they have those drummers that just float and all this. I kind of do everything. I play guitar, drums, bass, whatever you need. You know, realistically, I'd probably shine the most as bass player because I could play pretty much anything. But I've kind of leaned into the hardcore, you know, old thrash metal on drums. I can do a lot of that stuff. You know,
that's job security in a shitty business, right?
You know, if you're in metal and you're in a metal band, I don't care where you are, unless you're on top of the heap or really close to the top, you're just fighting your way through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've heard so many great bands. I'm like, why aren't they huge? And I'm just like, there's so many out there now, and I'm glad everybody has a voice and they can speak it. But it's tough. But I met a lot of great people. A lot of those people at those levels, man, they get it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Awesome, and we're doing it for the love. You know what I mean? Like, we're doing it because
it's too difficult to try and stay above the noise, right? Because there's so much of it.
Yeah, it's I own a tattoo shop, and I sit here and I just listen. I'll put on Apple Music, and I'll just listen to metal, current metal, prog metal. And I just listen to it. I'll get on a kick for like a week or two. That's how I discovered Baroness years ago. I remember I heard Baroness. Oh, these guys are fantastic. And then I got into Gojira, and I was in a band called The Last Season. I think the drummer released one of our albums, and we were playing with Mastodon. We played with Mastodon at the Lost Rise in like 500 capacity club back in the day. We were playing with Kill Switch. We were playing right before that wave, right before that Ozfest where everybody broke. We were in a band so we were doing this proggy kind of metal. We broke up through a lot of reasons. And then I ended up joining Freya, and then Freya, they were on Victory, so I joined Freya and did all that stuff. So I kind of changed my style from this proggy metal, like kind of cookie rock to like kind of straight hardcore rock, And then we went hardcore. We still got that metal edge. So and then I was originally bass, and then I started playing drums. So yeah, it's just kind of like, you kind of make friends in the biz, and you kind of like say, hey, you need someone? Yeah, I'll come in, man. You guys rock. Let's do this. And I enjoy that. I have a few people I'm in touch with, so it's cool.
Perfect. So what's the plan with Ashes of the Sun then? Do you have EPs in the works, singles in the works, that sort of thing?
Well, we did. So originally I was just going to drop the album. Didn't really know what I was going to do. And then I hired the PR, Asher from Asher Media. And I was like talking to drop a couple singles, So I was like, all right. So I dropped a couple singles before coming up to it. And I'm like, I don't really know. I did a quick kind of test group, about 60 people, said, hey, what are your favorite songs? And I think a lot of those guys were just into rock. So I dropped those, and I dropped the album. And I have a production company. I just did it all independently. I usually kind of would look for a label maybe or something. But I figured, you know what, man, these songs, I don't know what to expect. So I just dropped them. But I'm always writing, and I have a couple songs. I showed them some people, and I'm like, what do you think of this? And it sounds like Ashes of the Sun to me. Things I wouldn't use for Freya, things I won't use for this band, Void Emperor. And I have so many irons in the fire right now that I'm just kind of collecting these up. I'm probably going to start dropping singles. Kind of funny thing, I wrote a Christmas song. It's a surf song for a surf band I was in. I'm probably going to drop that this winter for Christmas, just as I probably won't attach my name to it necessarily, but just get it out there because it's cool. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I look like it wasn't working.
No. Okay.
And let me close this. And I wrote a new song for Ashes of the Sun that I'm probably going to use, but now that I'm kind of getting a feel for where it's at and what people are liking, and I've had people who are praising it, people say, no, that's not a metal album. So it's a hard rock album. So I'm gonna get into that. But I am recording an album with my old band, The Last Season, and I think we're gonna be getting all the old guys back together. I don't know if you're familiar with Syracuse music, but Danny Johnson sang for that band. He was in God Below back in the day. He was in Blood Runs Black, and he started The Last Season. The Last Season was a band that was kind of made up of, for Danny, of after they replaced him, and then they started a band called Brand New Sin. They did okay for a little bit and stuff, right. And so I was part of that originally, and then, like I said, I'm doing an album with those guys. I think all these old songs are really cool. We used to play we went on tour with like Candiria, Burnt by the Sun back in the day. We did all that type of stuff. And then, so Ashes of the Sun, I got some buddies that, that I've been talking to. I'm not going to mention any names yet, but people that are some other bands that seem interested in doing this with me. And I'm going to see what's up. I got some connections in the Northeast to where I might do a couple shows, play the field, see how it goes. I didn't really know. I didn't have a lot of expectations. I kind of said, I'm sick of music. I'm going to drop it. See, that's really where it's at. I just want to see what happens. And I keep getting people to ask me, and I'm like, shit, I guess I thought about playing shows, but I didn't really get that far into it because I'm just so the projects. You know what I mean?
And the music business is so different when even back when you were with Victory, right? Because there were real physical releases and all that kind of stuff. And
yeah, when we were
very different to play that game.
Yeah, back when I first joined Freya was like 2004. I joined right after Last Light Drains came out, and that was a pretty big push. I think that album sold like over 500,000 copies, and I mean that was a pretty big deal. I don't know about now. I don't even know what sales are now, but I kind of came into it at a really cool point. Victory was banging then. We were in direct contact. It was when I joined Freya. It was Carl from Earth Crisis, Eric and Bulldog from Earth Crisis, and Dennis from Earth Crisis played drums. I came in on bass, and I was like, I'm playing with Earth Crisis. It's pretty cool. I mean, that was 20 years ago. Those guys are my friends, and Carl's one of my friends, and Eric is one of my best friends. Talk to those guys like every day. But it was a really cool time. We had the album drop, and you could go and you could look at a magazine, look at Revolve, you see a big full page ad and stuff. We were on all these awesome bands. So it was really, really cool, and then Victory kind of dissolved. They sold it, whatever happened. And I had left Freya, and I kind of did some other things and stuff. And then when I came back, Freya had released a few other albums and stuff. And some of the guys that me and Carl had brought on to go to Europe with us and stuff. And so they kind of kept going, obviously Earth Crisis came back. And but it was a different game. So I came back in back in 2017, and the whole industry kind of had changed. Like I was used to getting a label. I was used to all this like stuff. MTV was an option. We had songs on Road Rules and Room Raiders, and I think we had a song on Shameless. Freya did not too long ago, last season, and that's all cool shit, But it's different now. It's like I'm trying to navigate those waters. I'm turning into an old man who's learning his way in this current social kind of push business.
Short attention span, social media. Everybody's got the attention span of gnats, right? Like 30 seconds or some bullshit.
I can't talk to somebody without them looking. Like we're having a conversation right now, and I keep looking at you and stuff, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, we're talking, but people just don't do it anymore. I do tattoos, so I kind of force them into a conversation, so they're stuck there. I spend an hour or two tattooing them, and they're stuck with whatever's coming out. You know what I mean? And
right.
But aside from that, man, I'm out in the bounce. I'm saying, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. They look away, and I'm like, okay, done. I'm not talking about this shit anymore. Like, it's so you tend to, songs I think probably are gonna get shorter if they're not already, and I think that everything, videos, all that shit, content you post, it's got to be 30 seconds.
Yeah, I know, but I think it compromises the art at some point, right? Because if whatever you're writing demands a 10-minute epic, like we've grown up with, there's a lot of songs that are 8 to 10 minutes that are epics. Yeah. You couldn't make those 30 seconds or 1 minute no. And I think you compromise a lot.
The band I'm jamming with. So Freya, when we started writing the last Freya album, Carl was like, let's keep them short and sweet. So we kind of really just went, 1, 2, punch combos. You know what I mean? That's it. We just kind of like boom, 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 like a hook, and make some changes in there. And we, I cut so much out of some of my riffs for that stuff because I was just like, oh, this change, that change, this change. And we're like, no, we need to shorten it. And so when I did the Ashes of the Sun, I was going to put all these things in it that I would normally do. But I was like, you know what, man? I don't think people – I think that album is meant more for like those guys that are 50 that grew up in the grunge and thrash metal that like don't want to think too hard. If you're a musician playing, you're probably gonna say, "Oh, it's pretty straightforward." I'm like, that's how I wrote it that way on purpose. I wrote it because I thought, I love a lot of grunge, I love a lot of metal, and I tried to keep it simple and to the point. Even though some of the songs are a little bit longer, it still has that idea where you pop it on, man. Like at my tattoo shop, people love it, and it's just it's a great filler. It's music is like one way or the other, right? It's like so complicated, so long, and like what the hell's going on? Or it's just short and sweet. You know what I mean? And I tried to kind of fall into that. Like I want to go for an old school rock album. You listen to a Guns N' Roses song, if you like those guys, and it's just rock. It just goes to the point. This is like a heavy
time. Yeah, just go.
That's what I kind of in my mind. I was thinking I want it to be like Baroness. They're kind of rock, but they're a little bit metal, so they have a lot going on. But I wanted this album to be like an old Alice in Chains album. I wanted it to be that Nirvana mentality, but a little heavier, a little grindier, but it shows the Metallica influence. It shows my own thrash influence. It's really just like It's just like this project that I dig, and I hope I think that the right, it'll find its crowd eventually, and
Oh yeah.
I tried to keep it. I tried to keep it manageable for those kids who have short attention span. You didn't get lost. You didn't go too far out of the range. Like, is this the same song? I don't even fucking know. No,
right.
You just drifted off for a minute.
Right. So that brings me to the end of my written questions. But if fans want to find you, how do they do so?
Well, I originally was doing a lot through my Instagram, which was Ethan Henry 43 at Instagram. But I just started an Ashes of the Sun Instagram because it seems like it's kind of needs to turn into its own entity. So I think it's Ashes of the Sun Band on Instagram. I have my production company. I make movies and stuff, and a lot of my stuff's there on ignoranttouristproductions.com. And so you can find our stuff there. We're building it as we speak. It's all kind of new. And I have a YouTube channel as well, Ignorant Tourist Productions. And we're posting like videos on there and stuff. And I'll be posting like anything. It's kind of a variety. I chose Ignorant Tourist Productions because that's how I am as an artist, man. I kind of, as a tattoo artist, I do traditional. I do realism. I do anything. As a musician, I'm the same way. I'll play funk. I'll play like metal. I'll play rock. I just love doing it all. I'm an artist, and I don't want to be like just I'm metal. I just do metal.
No, I get it.
I'm more.
Sure.
So Ignorant Tourist Productions. That the reason why we're that is because I'm an ignorant tourist wherever I go. I'm just kind of like, oh yeah, I can play jazz. Oh yeah, man, yeah, I could paint flowers, and so I thought it was funny, kind of like just to the idea of what it is, what it stands for.
Gotcha. And that's all I have, my friend. I hope that wasn't too bad.
No, dude, I appreciate the time, man. I'm just trying to keep the world alive with indie music and film and art. That's all I do. I just preach it all the time. So I appreciate this.
Awesome. You have a great day.
Pleasure meeting you. Take care.
All right. Bye.